Welcome to Keys to Improve Your Schedule Rate. So I just want to quickly go through some tips before we get into the actual script that you say for setting up appointments. So the first thing that you want to do is just to be open and honest. And so you want to add in there, especially if you're new, is that tell them that you're new to setting appointments and that you're practicing. So that's transparent, that's honest, it's letting them know you're not a professional salesperson, and so that can help improve your schedule rate. The second is to give them an agenda and a time frame. So we talked a little bit about that before. And so, when you give that agenda and you give a time frame, it gets them excited to learn because they understand what they're going to be doing and how long it's going to take. The third is to remove pressure to buy. So this is huge. And so it's just saying certain phrases that will take off the pressure from them, because oftentimes people don't want to set up an appointment because they might think that you're going to be pushy. And so just take that off. So it might be adding something like, you'll get to decide if this is a good fit for you. Or what I really like to say is, you don't have to buy anything if you don't want, but if you see something you like, I'll help you get it. And that totally removes the pressure from people. And so they understand, like, I'm not going to buy anything unless there's something that I like and that it's going to be my decision. The fourth is that you want to give them a choice of 2 times. And you want to really discipline yourself to do this. And we talked about it a little bit in the first chat. Or we talked a little bit about scheduling and you're scheduling your time in the first chat. And this is really, really important. So if 75% of people don't have anything in their calendar, but they're really, really busy, you don't want to be saying something like, when is a good time for you? Because there is never a good time for them. That they will, if you ask that question to someone, they'll be like, oh, I don't know, because it's just overwhelming to them because they're already overwhelmed and they're not using a planner. And so that just makes it super hard for them. So if you want to really have more success with setting up those appointments, you really want to make it easier for them. But giving you an example of this is that if you were to ask your kids, so what do you want to eat for dinner tonight? They'd be like, I don't know. But if you gave them a choice of, hey, do you want Chinese or Mexican, they're more likely to make a choice. And also, if you're giving choices that fit for you, so according to, like, I like Chinese and I like Mexican, and so if they pick one of those, it's also something that I like. It's the same thing with setting an appointment, that if you're giving 2 times that you're available and they can choose from one of those, then it doesn't have to come back to, like, they gave you a time and it doesn't work for you, and then you have to go back and forth, and it just makes it awkward. And so that's why it's so important to be disciplined. Number 1 is to schedule out your doTERRA time, so when you have blocks of free time that you can set up that appointment, and then give them 2 options. And if those 2 options don't work, then you can ask again, saying, well, okay, would morning or evening be better? And so you can kind of narrow in on what time would be better for them. And so I have an example of that where my friend wanted to go to lunch. She's like, well, when would be good for you? Asked that same dangerous question. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I've got so much going on, which I did. I had so much going on. But had she just said, how about, right after this class, or maybe next Monday after this class, and just gave me specific times, then I could go to my calendar and look, do I have anything actually scheduled that would conflict with that? And if not, then I could just choose one of those times. And then the last one is to ask no questions. So psychology says, and most people have this natural tendency to say no to questions. So if you're asking a question, is it a good time to talk? No. Is it a good time for this? No. And so you want to change those questions around, and we'll get into this with our scripts, is asking questions that when they say no, it's like positive. For instance, is now a bad time to talk? And so their natural tendency will be to say no. And so that just means that now's a good time to talk. Or is Friday too soon for you? No, it's not too soon for me. So that means that we could schedule like within a couple of days. And so those are just some great tips to improve your schedule rate.